Kiwe Conversation. The only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Wes. Welcome to the Damu Kiwe Conversations. It's Duse M the Don. And we got the content. Hit that like button on your way in. Smash that like button on your way in. It's like taking your chucks off before entering against this house. You know what I'm saying? When you enter this motherfucking set, you know what I'm saying? Takes your chucks off at the front door. Smash that like button. We gonna get into 16 life exposing a racist essay. And it's crazy. This for so many different reasons. This is crazy. This the time that we live in. A consistent effort to undermine constitutional guarantees by this government. And you say, oh, it's Trump and the Republicans. Bro, the Democrats knew what he was going to do before he got in there, and they could have rebelled against it, knowing he was a criminal, refused to pass over the torch to him as the president after he already had committed treason against this country. See, these Democrats and Republicans is two heads of the same branch, two heads of the same dragon. And then you get someone that they in the land right now is calling for blacks to support us, the immigrants, the treatment of how they're attacking our communities to get these immigrants or whatever schools on high alert from the principal on down. This is Los Angeles right now. The anxiety level already going up. They're asking humelinated 7 ether carbonated beings, right? They asking the 7 carbonated beings, right, to help them. And then you got one of these ones that's just like we got our house niggas. You know what I'm saying? We got our Sambos, our William O'Neills, our Reverend Al Sharptons, right? They do too, and it's really jacked up that the rest of the population who don't look and feel that way don't. Yet, I think he claims he La Raza. Well, I don't think that that's in the interest of La Raza that you are doing a proper representation thereof. So 16 to life, well, he'll tell you a little bit more about himself. I'll let him do that, and I wanted y'all to hear his intro because the dude rapping on there is flowing, man. Salute to that brother, whoever he is. You know what I'm saying? We finna get into this now.
Fight the type of stuff they like to see. 2 choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life, and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when, homie, all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia. AB, skinheads with big giant swastikas. Pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon'.
In the Win with Zen sweepstakes, you can get a chance to win $100,000. But there's more than one way to win with Zen. Here's how it works.
Who 16 to life is.
Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing right there on that intro song, and if you want to get that, it is available for purchase only, straight from me on a digital download. Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle me $20, and I'm gonna get it to you ASAP. If you're interested, hit me up on my email, 16thelifemusic@gmail.com. Also, if you're new to the channel, go to my YouTube playlist. It's called Binge Watch the Best. I got.
Hey, 16 to life. Hey, man, I didn't even know you was such a businessman, right? So he says that was him rapping, and he has it for download only. If you want it, you got to send him a $20 Cash App. He properly evaluating his intellectual property, considering he had to spend money to record it, the beats, etc., right? So how are you going to make your money back getting percentages of a penny per stream? You know how many people you got to get to come see your thing? Smart move, brother. Salute to you, man. I might just have to support. I like the song anyway. Let's go.
A gang of my videos in there, man. You can just run through them. I got a lot of DP stories, fights, riots. Man, check it out. I'm telling you, you're going to definitely be intrigued. Now let's hop right up into this video, man. So in this video, man, we're going to be talking about some recent information that has came out exposing Gunner as an undercover racist, basically just a charlatan and a huckster. You know, first and foremost, I want to say shout out to all the Hispanic YouTubers and the Mexican YouTubers who are calling him out on this, because actually it was those Mexican YouTubers, Hispanic YouTubers who actually revealed this information and brought this information to the forefront. So Chemo Flicks, Chicano YouTube Mikey, Cali Legend Media, and all
Chemo Flicks, Mikey, and all of these YouTubers that's raza that called him out when they seen discrimination, where they seen racism, where they seen he was wrong in those in our community. I salute to y'all for keeping it gangster. And y'all should be able to expect the same from us. It's the same way in the pen. To give respect, you got to give respect. And they're showing respect by calling out and regulating and distancing themselves from this racist and discriminatory behavior. Salute to them, brothers. Viva la Oaxaca! Viva la raza! Let's go.
These other channels who I may have not seen, right? So basically, what they're calling him out on is in a old IG page of his. I guess he was in a conversation with some individual, and he's discussing L from A Prisoner's Awakening, and he is currently married to an African American woman, a black woman, you know. So in these texts, basically, Gunner disrespects his wife. Now he also claims in those texts that L had said something disrespectful. But if you have a problem with L, address L. Why bring his wife into it and then disrespect her on the color of race? Pointing out and being disrespectful about her race, to me, it just shows a whole lot about his true character and how he honestly feels about black people. And then I'm gonna show you guys something else that I felt that he, you know, when he said about black people, which was unnecessary, and it just really shows his true character and feelings about black people. Am I upset? Am I hurt? Am I surprised? I guarantee you guys not one bit. You know, I'm just pointing this out because once again, it basically just highlights me of him of when I recently just said that he is of suspect character. So like I said, now what this is a conversation that he had with somebody on his IG where he basically called, well, not basically, well, he called L's wife a mayate. Now from time to time, I'll have individuals who hit my page and say, well, you know, chill, mayate is really just a black bug or something like that, a Spanish word for a black bug. Yes, okay, but when you use it in the context in referring to a black person, disparaging them and being disrespectful, it is definitely disrespectful. And it's almost equivalent, in my opinion, to the N-word, Nigger, right? Let's just talk about for it. You know, I'm speaking directly to the black people out here, right? Who may not be from California, who may have never heard the term mayate. And from time to time, you know, people will leave that comment in my comment section toward me in an attempt to be disrespectful, right? But back to the black people who have possibly never even heard this term.
Before he explained that, mayate, whether it means a black bug or beetle or whatever they want to say it means in Spanish, its intent is derogatory, just like the Nigger with the hard R, right? Not with the A, with the hard R. So I definitely understand your intent was to be disrespectful to the black races by liking them to those beetles or whatever. Let's go.
Say you happen to get into it with a Mexican person or a person who speaks Spanish, and you guys are arguing back and forth or whatever, and then they suddenly say, "You effing mayate." Now, you may not even know what they just called you, but it just automatically doesn't even sound right. So it sounds like it's a disrespectful term, right? But like I say, sometimes you'll have individuals who try to soften the blow and try to make it seem like, well, hey, chill, no, that's not really what it is. So I'm going to play a clip from Cali Legends Media. Steve, I believe his name is, and he's explaining basically the definition of that word.
That's very disgraceful. You know, calling somebody's wife like that. A mayate is known as a small black bug that flies around. They only come in season. They have like a green hue to them. Okay. The Mexicans call them mayates. You know what I mean? When they call them mayates llanta, they're talking about a tire. Why? Because it's black. You know what I'm saying? They're derogatory terms that black people recognize as being disrespect, you know, and that's the way it was said, and that's the way it was intended. There was no other way to take that comment, you know, in the context of his conversation with this man that was interviewing him. Me personally, that's just like too much, you know what I mean? Like, that's this man's wife, man. They have a child together. He loves this lady. I felt that if he can do that,
step on campus and picture your future. Learn more about Warburg today.
Hit that like button, man. Y'all in the Damu Kiwe
US Cellular makes it easy.
The hottest podcast on the West Coast. The voice of the coach. The voice of the West Coast. Let's go.
Easily, it says a lot about him, you know?
So yeah, you just saw the video right there. I think it's clear cut, like I said once again, that when you are using that term in reference to a black person, it is definitely a disrespectful term. Now, also shout out to Chicano YouTube Mikey, who also goes on to break things down and discuss it. And like I said once again, man, we have to understand and realize that you have a lot of Mexicans and Hispanics calling Gunner on this. So once again, I take my hat off and I salute to those individuals, man, because, you know, I've always said using a term that's blanket disrespectful to a race of people is just something that I deeply disagree with, man. If you have an issue with an individual, why insert race when there's no need for you to insert race unless you feel a certain type of disrespectful way about that whole entire race. So let me show you guys basically what Chicano YouTube Mikey had to say in reference to that whole situation.
My reaction over to the leaked tech messages over from
this is nasty.
Channels went live last night, and they were talking about it because these messages got put out. They're very sickening. They're disgusting. They're distasteful, and it actually goes to show a person's absolute true colors and their true character. When something like this gets revealed about a person, there is no downplaying it. There is no, well, I was in the heat of the moment. Well, I felt this kind of way. Well, I felt that kind of way. And that's a reason that you brought out the racista inside of you. No, the racist inside of you was always there. So here we go. So this recently came to light with some text messages. Again, these are some distasteful, disgraceful text messages that show character and you really can't come back from. I'm going to go ahead and play it. But again, I'll leave the audio off. The audio on, it has a song in the background. Again, might be copyrighted, but all he's doing is spilling lies, bro. So here's one text message. Again, it was revealed and it says this is coming from 730 Shooter.
What if you were prepared for all those interview curveballs?
Let's go ahead and hit that.
Okay. 730, he used to call himself again. So 730 Shooter.
So 730 Shooter was what he used to call himself. Gracias, brother. I highly appreciate you. Prayer hands, no problem, bro. But you shouldn't have said that about L and his wife, especially with no proof.
I actually remember that on the contract with Tony, stories written by Current Prisoner, and him, the one he burned me on, he signed it like that too, as well. He put his name, right? Leonard something, and then he put 730 Shooter. It was just, I thought that was funny, right? But he's interacting with someone and he's saying, gracias, brother. I highly appreciate you. And then the other person that he's dialoguing with, and I mean, I could guess who it is, but I don't want to. The other person is saying, no problem, bro. But you shouldn't have said that about L y su esposa, especially with no proof. Huh. This seems like a pattern. Will this guy put things out on the internet with no proof? I wonder if he would or not. We already know that he will. He'll put anything out on the internet for $1. Let's keep it going. That vato and that, hell no, we ain't gonna say that word. We don't say that word. Bro, he disrespected my jefito. That's past. I have no sympathy for them. Well, do you have proof of him doing that? You know trolls make stuff up as well, the other person is saying. You know they have done that to you before. If that is what happened, I don't know. So he's claiming disrespect. So he's being disrespectful. But one thing is being disrespectful, right? Which you can disrespect a person and not show an inkling of a negative character that's going to put a jacket on you that can never come off of you. This jacket now that he has, which is a new jacket, right? The racista jacket is a jacket he's never going to be able to shake, because I'm certain even he knows you can disrespect a person, but you ain't got to start calling out on skin color. Once you do that, the true you comes.
I don't need it, bro. That triple OG cat hit me up saying he's going to go hard on L. Do what you do, bro. I don't judge, but I'm just saying that's messed up if you cause them to divorce. I could care less what him and that Mayate does. No disrespect. Nasty work, bro.
So it says, I don't need it, bro. That triple OG cat hit me up saying he's going to go hard on L. Do what you do, bro. I don't judge. But I'm just saying, that's messed up if you cause them to divorce. I can care less what him and that other person does. No disrespect.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
In his words, he has an issue with people of color. In his words, he has an issue with people that are African Americans. Those are his words.
And also, of course, I'll put the screenshot up on the screen where the conversation is going back and forth between Gunner and whoever this other individual that he's talking to when he uses this disrespectful term. Now, you have a lot of individuals, or you have, 2 or 3 people coming forward and confirming that, yes, this is the IG that Gunner used to use. This is the IG that me and Gunner had communications and conversations on. So to me, it's just like, it's just a cold situation. But like I said, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I'm not hurt, because Gunner when it is beneficial or when it's convenient, he has no problem trying to or exposing people, when it's convenient. Then later on, when it's not convenient, he'll then turn around and act like he's so holier than thou. And now suddenly he's matured and he's so against, trying to expose people, calling people rats and all this type of stuff where, to be honest, if we just gonna keep it 100%, all these things that he's done and said and called people in the past fits in the same boat that he fits in. So to me, like I said, once again, it is just crazy that how you can try to disrespect the individual along the lines of things that you have also done yourself, whether it's, being on an SNY yard, being on a 50-50 yard, being a rat, trying to expose people. Well, if anybody out there has seen a few of Gunner's lives or whatever, Gunner at times will do the most he can to be disrespectful. He'll drag people's wives into it. I'll show you guys a clip later on where L from a Prisoner's Awakening said that he even called his kids the N-word. Things that should be off limits, wives and kids. We'll see Gunner try to hit way below the belt and bring those things into play when he's trying to hurt people. He has said a lot of negative things about a lot of people in the past, right? And so that's why I say that these things, it doesn't surprise me when it comes out that these are things that he has done. And once again, shout out to Chicano Mikey, because when addressing this situation, he didn't even feel comfortable in using the word. So once again, that just adds more credence to my point that it definitely is a disrespectful word. And I think that anybody who's seen videos based in California from time to time, or videos when you're talking about you having beefs between Hispanics and blacks, that word is used sometimes by Hispanics to disrespect blacks. Not gonna sit here for 1 second and act like blacks don't say things that are disrespectful towards Mexicans, because they do. Only thing I'm trying to point out in this particular video is that particular word, when used in reference to a black person, is intended to be disrespectful. Now, of course, last but not least, let me show you a video that L made on his channel called A Prisoner's Awakening. And due to the fact that L's wife is the topic of the disrespect, I don't want to get too far into that video. But if you want to go see the video, go to his channel and check him out on A Prisoner's Awakening. But L is just going to confirm a little bit that, yes, he had some communications on that channel with Gunner, and that, Gunner has went on to say numerous disrespectful things about L's wife and L's kids.
NetCredit is here to say yes.
Damu Kiwe Conversations, bro. Niggas playing with niggas' wives, disrespecting niggas' wife. Sound like CS2 back. I feel you, bro. AL, get him.
Howard, the racist, is at it again. So for anybody out there, 730 shooter was Gunner's his old IG account. And obviously that's what he exposed, his account, him talking about basically saying that he didn't care about what this M word, the racist word, speaking about my wife, when the dude was like, hey, you shouldn't cause him to get a divorce type stuff.
Yeah, bro. You get to talk about people's wife, that's domestic shit. More people get unalived over domestic stuff than over gangbanging, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that I think this dude is treading. He's sliding down a razor blade into alcohol lake. Let's go, man.
Stuff. And juxtaposed to that, next to it, was a audio clip of him saying all kinds of nonsense. People think that we're hating on him. We're not hating on him, bro. Like, this is despicable behavior. Like, he called my kids the N-word, all that, bro. I'm telling you, bro, like, this dude exposed my address, everything, bro. Like, this who was shady.
Now, last but not least, of course, is something that I wanted to point out a while ago. Truth be told, I meant to do a reaction to this video and that specific comment, but I kind of never got around to it. Some things came up and I just kind of let it go also because I didn't want to be involved in a whole lot of back and forth beef. But now since this has came up again, it gives me an opportunity and a chance to point this out and highlight this. Now, ironically, what I'm going to show you guys is a clip from the night when Dubs and Gunner were on live. They were drinking, and also Gunner was right there being Dubs' cheerleader, for lack of a better word right now. Basically, though, what he goes on to say, I believe he's referring to the situation that occurred between Blue Devil and Wack when he feels that Blue Devil bowed down to Wack. And so if that's the way you feel, just say that, right? Don't make it an issue about blacks or whatever. So he goes on to say, hey man, you know, and Blue Devil, you are a black bow downer. Basically, like I said, saying that he bowed down to a black person. So why not just say, hey man, you bowed down to Wack, or you bowed down to another man, you're scary, or however it is that he feels. But when he points out specifically, you bow down to a black person, me personally, what I'm hearing is that black people are less than and something that you should not be bowing down to, because we all know, man, there's a whole bunch of tough black dudes, there's a whole bunch of tough Mexican dudes, there's a whole bunch of tough white dudes, there's a whole bunch of tough Asian dudes. And so my point of highlighting all that is to say, once again, why did you say that you are a black bow downer? So you must obviously feel that black people are beneath you and people that you definitely should not bow down to.
I don't know about that. The people are beneath them. I think that it's in what's the word that I'm looking for? It's the white supremacist classism that is so prevalent in Mexico and Mexican culture. You know, and then add some of the gang politics, which adopt some of the Nazi lowrider principles, white supremacist ideals, etc. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily mean under, but I do think he looks down upon them. But I don't think that showed that. It definitely just showed that he doesn't feel that he should be bowing down to blacks, period. Let's go.
You can be scared of anybody, but don't be scared of a black person. So anyway, let me show you guys the clip where Gunner utters those words.
He's part of the government. You're a rata and a black bow downer. Stop. He's part of the government. You're a rata and a black bow downer.
What can I get you today?
I don't know.
And a black bow downer. Nasty work. Only thing I bow down to is God.
Opinion with the revelation of these basically despicable, disgusting words that Gunner said in reference to black people, it's clear that this dude is, like I said, the individual who I thought he was. He's a person of shady character, and he will definitely get deeply disrespectful when he feels it's okay. You know, to me, it's almost laughable that every time I've seen him on a live, you have black music playing in the background. But then when you're behind the scenes and you're texting Mr. Tough Fingers, you will say things that are derogatory and disrespectful toward black people. So, and real quick, it's ironic, right? Because in that particular text, he says, no disrespect, I don't care about you and that mayate, or something along those lines. But to me, he almost used the exact terminology and phrase that I used in my comment when I said, hey, no disrespect, Gunner, but I feel you're suspect. And so in my opinion, it's crazy that he got upset and angry at me for basically saying, no disrespect, I think you're suspect. But then now it comes out that he uses basically the same term, but he uses a word that is definitely disrespectful to not only L's wife, but to black people in general. And so one last time, shout out to Chemo Flicks, Cali Legend Media, Chicano YouTube, Mikey, L, and all the other individuals who expose Gunner and the ones who are not going to allow race to be a reason for dissension and separation. Once again, if you have a problem with an individual, have a problem with the individual for whatever it is he done, not because he is of a certain race, especially when you seemingly embrace the culture, the music, so on and so forth of the people that you are disrespecting as a race. Once again, man, coward activity at its finest. Anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.
Hey, salute to 16 to life, man. Thanks for the content. Y'all go over there. Make sure you hit that like button like I did and subscribe. The brothers comes off as a very respectable brother. He probably learned that in the penitentiary if he since he went so young, right? And I commend that brother that he's doing so positively, and he's generating money, and on top of that, he ain't went back to jail, man. He's helping to cut down that recidivism rate by finding and applying himself into constructive dealings, and that being a vlogger on YouTube, man. But I'm gonna tell you all this, man. Los Angeles is a little bit different. Well, California, but Los Angeles and its politics is a little bit different. People say that Mexicans run LA. Well, Mexicans do run LA, certain territories and heavy parts of the valley, all of East LA. They got their strongholds, but so do blacks. And when in those black strongholds, they have no say into the politics, right? They don't dictate nothing. And even in prison, they don't dictate the Bloods and Crip program. I know they'll try, and it usually goes up. You know what I'm saying? If they see that, you don't have as many numbers, the gangs, not the Mexicans, the gangs will try you. They will try to push their line. But as far as the Mexicans running California, California was part of Mexico. On top of that, the population of Mexicans in California, I think is like 40 per 30 something, almost 40% or something. You know what I'm saying? So they got a very large population over there. They have a lot of businesses. See, when you want to talk about power and economic power, buying power, you know what I'm saying, to control it, yes, 40%, and a lot of them are homeowners. I would say that they control a major part of what's going to happen in the future. You know what I'm saying? Unless some of those are immigrants and Trump and them find a way to rip them up off of it. And blacks, the Bloods and Crips, have zero issues with Mexicans because they're Mexicans. Now, the Bloods and Crips and the Hoovers do have issues with Sereno gangs, which happen to be Mexican gangs up under the Mexican mafia, and that's a whole nother topic and structure, right? That inherently inherit some of those white supremacist ideals from their number one ally, the Aryan Brotherhood, right? Some of them who's in the California State Prison for crimes against Mexicans, which is mind-boggling, right? But in any events, they do what they do. We do what we do. I'm so glad that the brothers, the SA brothers that jumped in and called this dude out for who he really was once they seen his true colors, his disrespect towards a black woman who had a kid with a Mexican dude. So obviously she doesn't appear to come off as being racist. For him to focus just straight on that was a coward move, a bitch move. And I'm quite sure a lot of other black YouTubers are going to feel the exact same way, that he would take it there. You know what I'm saying? Well, why don't you pull up and say that to one of those black gang members in South Central LA, Compton? Why don't you pull up and tell them your true feelings? Gunner Collective, since you ain't doing that, but you're willing to do it on line, I liken you to an old PC sales soldier. You know what I'm saying? A fraud, not a man, because you won't even stand on how you truly feel. Misappropriating black culture, playing rap music and black music every time you go live, but you truly feel this way about it. On that note, hit that like button, Damu Kiwe.